Yeah. Okay. We can share on our profiles.
All right. So.
Showtime.
I'm just trying to find it here.
Yeah, you can find it on the Drumkin Facebook page on our.
Yep, I got it. Share it, and
let's go. Okay.
I think I just did it. I think so. Not sure.
Okay.
What? Oh, I'm seeing myself here. Did I share it?
Yeah.
I think I just did it.
Okay, let me check. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have conquered technology. I know this shit.
Step beyond. Ok. Ragazzi, benvenuti a tutti a questa live.
Ragazzi.
Questa live che parla svedese anche quest'oggi. Abbiamo avuto, per chi l'ha seguita, sabato scorso la live con Joke Valgren degli Amon Amarth. Oggi abbiamo il piacere di ospitare un altro grandissimo batterista, nonché una persona veramente fantastica, direttamente dai tamburi dei Dark Funeral, Janne Jaloma.
Hi Janne, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a very big pleasure to have you today with us.
Pleasure is all mine.
So, ragazzi, 9 connessi, io direi 10, possiamo anche iniziare.
Ok, possiamo partire. Prima di partire, ragazzi, come sempre, se avete domande, fatele, non siate timidi, Janne è qui a vostra disposizione, quindi come sempre sfruttate l'occasione. E noi adesso ci prepariamo ad iniziare. Allora, dai, gliela faccio io la prima domanda, va?
Ok.
So, Janne, the first question is, how did you join Dark Funeral?
Well, it's a long story. I'll try to make it a bit shorter, but it was an out of the blue thing for me. I wasn't expecting that at all. I didn't ask them. They asked me, and I thought I was kind of quitting the music thing just before that. I wasn't really ready to because I didn't think I was going to be in touring bands, and you know how hard it is with money and all that stuff. So I kind of just gave up the dream. Just the same day, they actually asked me if I wanted to try and play for them a little bit. But it all started with a Facebook message from Michael, Lord Arimon. And he said that at the time they would need a temporary drummer for a little bit. They didn't know why. It had no idea. I still don't, honestly. So it was just that message, and they asked me if I wanted to try out and be a temporary drummer for them for a little bit to begin with. And I just said, yeah. And since then, all of my time has just gone into that band, pretty much. Obviously.
Che è successo?
Niente, è morto. Ok. Lo ricontattiamo. Aiuto, Janne. Oddio, speriamo.
Ragazzi, dovete sapere che Janne già da prima, quando eravamo connessi, aveva qualche problema col wifi a casa. Adesso vediamo se riusciamo a recuperarlo.
Vediamo un attimo.
Intanto, ragazzi, potete anticiparvi un po' di lavoro e potete scriverci qualche domanda che potremo fare a Janne non appena ritorna. Intanto vediamo se David riesce a ripescarlo.
Ok, è tornato. Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm back.
Welcome back, man.
Thank you. I have no idea. It just out of nothing just went away.
Mauro scrive: è troppo veloce, ha già finito.
Ok, Janne,
one friend of us is a very
Mauro Mercurio is one of the best death metal drummer in Italy. Wrote that you are too fast and you've just finished the interview.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Grazie Maurizio.
Wow. And we have another big friend of us, Rafael Saini from Italy. He's a very good drummer, and he wrote, "Dude, sickest single stroke roll on the planet."
You want me to do a single stroke roll?
Yeah, you have the sickest single stroke roll on the planet.
Oh, thank you.
Last bit of the world.
I thought he said, do a single stroke roll. I'm like, what? I'm going to do it now? That's what I thought.
If you want to share us your technique, your secrets, we are very happy. But
I guess I could.
I ask you, which is your secret? Which is the secret, your secret weapon to learn to play those blast beats with their funeral? If you have a routine, how much time did you study to reach that level? For play those blast beats every day, every night?
It's hard to say because it's been a developing thing since starting playing drums. You both know that. Like,
yeah.
Every day you try to find some way how to just move your wrists a bit faster, how to implement your fingers a bit more maybe, and just like perfect the motions all the time. So it's been a developing thing since I started playing, obviously, but I didn't push it that much until I got the Dark Funeral gig. But the first couple of months there, I already told them, like, I'm not physically ready for this yet. I'm not ready right now, but I'm going to have to be ready very soon because I only had one rehearsal with the band before I played the first show.
Wow.
Which was a nightmare. And it was not a perfect show. Far from it. It was actually, I'm so glad there's basically no clips of that on the internet. But anyhow, I made the first show happen after about 2 months of preparation, just with speed. Like musically, I didn't have to worry that much because I just knew like I'm gonna have to be doing a lot of hits in that hour. And before that, I hadn't really been playing in a band that's so intense for that period of time, So the first thing I had to do was pretty much just because my right hand was my weak link, still is. Strangely enough, because I'm a right-hand lead player, but my left hand has always been my more controlled, more stable, better technique, and I can lead with my left too. So I'm a bit ambidextrous. But I basically just had to find the quickest song I ever have to play with them, which was S1, We Shall Conquer, which is in 290 BPMs. And I set the metronome on 300 and just saw how many hits can I get out of 300. And I think I started out with like 5. And the next day I could maybe do 6 hits and like keep it in time. And then I just tried to do that for as long as possible and as controlled as possible in higher tempos. But then again, that only got me to speed, but it wasn't like that controlled, I'd say. So I kind of just went, lately I've been going down in speed, like sticking around like 220, 230, and just try to control the motions, and like control the dynamics. And, I still don't feel like I'm in control. Like I'm trying to perfect that every day. So if you ask me how long did it take me to get ready to do that, I'm still not ready. But, I'm trying every day.
Yeah. And try to do one step over every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
year, 400 BPM, okay?
Yeah, we'll see. If I have any arms left by that, I'll try to control what I need to play first. Then I might go to 400. No, and that's never gonna happen because I'm never gonna be able to control what I play.
Yeah, but it's useless. 400 BPM is useless.
Yeah, and I'm never gonna reach that. Like, I hope no one does. Honestly, I hope no one does.
Okay.
It's almost to be faster than light.
Yeah.
Janne, what about the feet technique on double pedal? You prefer single strokes or double strokes?
Right now I'm a mainly a double stroke player, and I've been for the past 6-7 years. And that was mainly because I hurt my right ankle. Because I was a swivel player when I was younger, and I was only playing along to Nile albums when I was like 16, 17. And I started playing drums at 15, so I had no idea what I was doing, honestly. And I'm 29 now, so it was a bit more than 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
More than 10 years ago now, yeah. And I was swiveling and like just putting a lot of pressure on my feet, and then I hurt my right ankle and just lost my double bass for years. I had no idea what to do. But then I just stumbled on a video of John Longstreth and Francesco Paoli, and I saw them doing the double stroke thing, and I thought first, I'm like, they're cheating. They're not even playing as fast as they should. Like, I can see that's not real. But then I just looked closer and I thought, oh, it's double strokes. What's that? And then I was like, oh, that's genius for a lazy person like me. But then again, I still can't move my right ankle faster than since I heard it. I don't think I've been able to play faster singles than 175 since then, because like my right ankle just locks itself. So I had to learn doubles to survive, honestly. Well, survive, that sounded a bit dramatic, but if I want to play faster, I had to find another way rather than singles and swivels, because it just hurts my ankle. And I haven't heard anyone else really have that problem, but that was the only thing that works for me. So if I could play everything in singles, I still would, but I can't. So I'm going to have to say that doubles is what I prefer, just because I have to. That's a very defined answer.
One important thing is to reach the goal.
Yeah, for sure. Like, doubles was hard. I still think it's hard to like really get them dynamically right, and spacing the hits, because it's easy to just make doubles sound fast, but maybe it's not that precise. But I kind of like when it's precise. And I'm still working on that too every day.
Yeah, someone tells that using doubles is like cheating, but in my opinion, and I always use single structure, doubles are another way to do the thing, and 100% a real technique. And it's not so much simple to control. For example, if you have to switch from 16 notes to 32, for example, and switch back to 16 without extra shots.
Yeah, it's I like that debate though. Well, it's funny for me to read, but I honestly, and I'm happy that's one of those things I don't really care about, because it's just, you're making a sound. Like, how dramatic can it be? You're making a sound. So, and it works well for me. So it's what I've been sticking with for the past 7 years. I don't trust my time acknowledgement again, because I thought I did that interview like 3 months ago, and it was a year ago. So who knows? Maybe I'm older than I think too.
Okay, there is a comment, but I think is in your language.
Oh, really?
From Matthias Carlson. I try to read it, but I don't know.
Good.
Okay. Vad pislar du med?
He's asking me, what am I doing? It's one of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah, ignore him.
Ok. Perfetto. Ragazzi, nel frattempo io vi ricordo, fate domande, adesso ve lo scrivo, che avete Janne a vostra disposizione.
Non sono timidi oggi.
Ok. I'm inviting our friends to do all the questions they need to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Another question. How was your first live show with Dark Funeral? Were you excited?
I was terrified.
Okay.
I was absolutely terrified. Because, we hadn't even rehearsed all the songs as a band when we walked up on stage. And, I wasn't ready, really, like mentally ready for that. Because I hadn't really been playing gigs in a long time. Before I got back on stage, but with Dark Funeral instead. So, you probably know the song Secrets of the Black Arts. Like an old classic tune from the band. We had not played that song in a rehearsal room before we played it on stage. And I was just like, if I mess up this classic, I'm going to kill myself right here and now. So I wasn't ready for that because no one knew that I was going to play until the day when we were actually there. That's when the announcements happened that someone else is playing. So I had to deal with that shitstorm as well before going up on stage. And I was already nervous. So I don't know. I kind of got into my own head that first show. Like, the show was okay. It was not a horrible show, but I was not enjoying it. Like, I was just sitting there feeling like, oh shit, I'm gonna get slaughtered after this show. But I only really slaughtered myself. So the first, like, 3-4 shows I played, I was so much in my own head and, like, just pretty much sabotaging myself. So it was difficult to just get over the barrier and not care and just play, you know?
Yeah.
But the first show, I was, absolutely terrified.
We can consider it as show number 0.
Yeah, pretty much. But the first 2 ones were in Europe. I played the first one in Denmark in was it Aalborg Metal Fest?
Oh, I
That
know
was the
about
one. Yeah. And so the first show was a festival as well, and setting up all that stuff, having to rush everything, and the kit is what's there. So I was that was also making me a bit nervous. I didn't know the gear I was playing that well, and I barely knew the songs.
We can imagine the crowd asking to themselves, "Where's Dominator? Who is this guy?"
Exactly. Yeah, that. Of course, that was the first couple of shows. Like, everybody was wondering, who the fuck is this dude? Why is he there? And because nobody really knew me before this.
Yeah.
So since I'm pretty much straight from the underground scene, and I was planning on not really playing anymore, but then I ended up in Dark Funeral instead. So it was a bit of a weird change for me too. But now it's going pretty well, I'd say. It's better now than it was.
Very good. There is another comment I think in Swedish. I try to read it. Sjuk or du? Is sjuk or du?
Oh, it was like, you're sick.
Okay.
But in a good way, I think.
Okay.
We have a question from our friend Rafael Staini. He would like to know, how did you train for Blast Beat?
How did I train?
Yeah.
It's basically just a single stroke roll anyway. So I've always just trained to practice single strokes, because if you just move your hands to 2 different surfaces, you basically have a blast beat, but it's a single stroke roll. So evening out single strokes on different surfaces, like some non-bouncy surfaces like pillows, because then you have to use your wrists more. And then also playing on really bouncy surfaces like practice pads, let's say the Real Feel pad by Evans or something similar, to learn finger control, and then kind of just adapt to your surfaces that you're hitting and just try to being able to play evenly on any kind of surface and just practice your single strokes. That's how you practice a blast beat. It's the same thing.
Okay.
You practice a lot, and if possible, without rebound.
Yeah, it's definitely possible without rebound. I'd say that's a better way of practicing if you want to strengthen muscle in your hands and wrists. I've got a drum kit over there standing, but I think I'm hitting this chair right here more than I hit my drum kit, because like the rebound is a bit different, and it's a bit lower, and it's so unforgiving with dynamics. Like I can instantly hear if I hit a bit harder with my left or right, so I just try to even it out. Like it's impossible to get it completely evened out, because drumsticks have like micro changes in weights and stuff, and they have different pitches, but still I try to just even out the hits, even if I'm holding sticks that doesn't have the exact same sound. And that's just a way of practicing. Like you're never gonna get them even, because it's two different pieces of wood. But you can try as much as possible, and you're not gonna get your ride and your snare sounding identical, but you're going to be able to control like how hard you hit. And if you get that control, you can probably boost your endurance a lot, just because knowing how hard you hit the surface and how hard you need to hit.
I remember a video you posted on Instagram where you played single stroke at 310 BPM on the pillow. I don't remember where.
Yeah.
No, it was on my girlfriend's bed.
And you did it.
Yeah.
That video is totally insane.
Insane, man.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I could do it then, because I don't think I can do it right now. But for some reason, I just felt like trying if I could do it, and I could on a bed that had absolutely zero rebound, nothing.
Yeah.
But I can't really do it if I have too much rebound. I can only do it because I've been hitting low rebound surfaces maybe a bit too much. So when I hit something that has a rebound, it kind of got weird to me. So now I'm practicing on rebound surfaces again. So you can't do too much out of one thing or the other, because it's just going to be bad. Like you have to do both and just get used to surfaces when you're hitting. Because if you only hit like those low rebound surfaces, you're going to get weirded out by something that has a rebound all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
And before the show, you practice on the no rebound surface or on your practice pad?
If I can find my practice pattern, if I don't lose it on tour, which I always do, I just hit something sometimes. I hit my legs a lot. Like I'm just hitting my knee with the stick, and but I don't really over warm up a lot. I never really have a metronome. It's like once out of 10 times I maybe use a metronome just to see, like, I'm gonna have to play 290 today. So I feel like I can move my hands, and then I put the metronome on maybe 290 and just try it out for a few seconds to see if I can get there. Like, okay, it's fine. And then I kind of I might stretch a little bit, but not too much. If I'm too cold, like if it's a really cold room, I won't stretch a lot, but I don't really over warm up a lot at all. And I never warm up my feet ever.
Very good. So a little warm up, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, not so much stress muscles.
Yeah, pretty much. I honestly think I should do it better than I do, because sometimes I do feel like I should probably put more effort into that part, because some shows I get away with it. Like I feel like this is easy, and then I get too comfortable, and then I maybe after 5 or 6 shows, and then we have a day off maybe, and then I get back to the first show after a day off, and I still feel like I can do it without barely warming up, and then I just cramp up in the second song. And so I haven't really figured out how much I need to warm up, because every time I feel like I'm gonna be dedicated to a warm up, then I warm up too much. Then I just walk up on stage tired. So I'm really bad at warming up. I'm bad at a lot of things. Like someone needs to teach me that. So don't ask me about warm up exercises, because I don't really know them myself.
Okay. Okay.
We have another question from Andres Rios. Cheers. Can you tell us more about your TM2 module trigger settings? That bass drum configuration is fucking awesome alive.
Yeah, sure. I used the TM2, like you already apparently knew. That's cool. And I have the traditional Roland RT30 trigger. And I kind of half muffle the kick, because I like that feel anyway. Medium to high tension on the head. And then I have usually between 20 or 22 in threshold. Re-trigger at 1. So I have to play really clean, otherwise it's gonna just punish me. And what else do I have? It's basically max sensitivity, but sensitivity in this case kind of means dynamics, because the threshold is kind of determining how sensitive it's going to be for the hits, like when to pick it up. But I have really high sensitivity. I don't know exactly how high, but the important things is that I have around like 20 to 22 in threshold, depending on the kick drum. Like some kick drums, for some reason, I just need to. Sometimes I have 25 in threshold, just because the kick is just sensitive. It feels like the kick itself is like that. Re-trigger at 1, high sensitivity, and the velocity curve I have at like loud. So it's pretty like undynamic, the kick, depending on what I'm playing. But if I'm playing extreme metal, which I mainly do, I pretty much just like even out the dynamics on it, just to make it a machine gun.
Really good.
So it's what people want to hear anyway, a machine gun.
Yeah.
And it makes it easy for the sound engineer too, I feel like.
Yeah. Okay. There is a question from our friend Gianluca Catabu. Grande Gianluca. Okay. He tells, hi Janne, and hi guys, the drum team. Questions for Janne, of course. How do you practice endurance? Some kind of routine for blast beat endurance?
I practiced blast beat endurance by playing blast beats for a long time. I feel like if you want to get better at playing blast beats, you have to play more blast beats on the thing you're supposed to be playing. So I kind of just make endurance runs on the kit, playing a blast beat if I can, you know. But I'm fortunate enough to be able to have my drum kit at home. So whenever I do that, it's on the kit, just playing long runs of blast beats. Because I kind of find it boring to sit on a pad practicing endurance. Like, it feels pointless to me if I have a kit right there. But if that's the only thing I can do, of course I'll hit the pad for a little bit, but it just ends up with me not practicing endurance because I think it's so boring to hit pads.
Okay.
So it's super simple. Just do it on the kit and do it for a long time.
Only play.
And try. Yeah.
Let's play. Okay. Emilia, quella di...
And maybe play something that's challenging for you. Like if if it's a song you struggle with, let's say, or if, usually playing to songs is a good thing. I just wanted to add this, by the way, because it's playing to a song and you know the tempo of that. It's more fun than listening to a metronome as well. So maybe if you pick up a song that has some kind of a long blast beat run, you can just play along to that song and just try to match that. And then if the song didn't beat you, then you can play the song over and over and over and over again. So if you can play the song 10 times in that tempo, I think you can increase the tempo and play a faster song. Or
Ok.
something like that.
Leggi tu quella di Federico di domanda, Emilia?
Sì, sì.
Ok.
Stavo cercando di recuperarla perché il telefono si è impazzito. Comunque.
Sì, guarda, dice consigli su come gestire un'audizione importante.
Esatto. Ok. Another question from Federico is how to manage an important audition with a big band. If you have an advice for this.
If he has an audition for a big band, how to prepare for that? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Wow. Because I kind of botched mine. I was just lucky they didn't really just get rid of me in the first seconds. But I would say what I would have done differently from what I did is just prepare for as much as you can. Listen to the songs. And if it's a band where, well, you say a big band, so it's an already existing band, then I would also check a lot of live clips from them playing songs, because I'm pretty sure you know what songs you're going to play. Study their live versions of the songs, and the most up-to-date ones, I'd say. And study that and make sure that you're familiar what the band is doing live, because it's like YouTube is a great tool for that these days, because if it's a big band, it's definitely on YouTube. So you can look at live shows, you can look at what the previous drummer did, just to have the information what he did, but I don't think you should copy the drummer, or, well, in this case, I'm just assuming you're a drummer. Don't copy the drummers straight off unless you're told to do that. But at least know pretty much every single hit in the song, and make sure that you know what all the other guys are doing as well. Like, you know the song, but if you listen to live clips and you can also see the live clips, you kind of have a head start in the other player's body language from playing and stuff. It's a great thing. That's the thing I use the most. I use body language. Like, I can see what the guys are doing. I can see what the guys are playing. I can see what section they're playing just by seeing how they move. Stuff like that. You can be observant for that stuff, but I would just say study live clips, because that's just going to make you feel like you're there already.
Very good.
At least I do. I visualize myself just sitting in the live clip when I'm learning something new that someone else has already played. I feel that's just free information. It makes it easy.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. We are another question from Isaac Olson. Okay. Think I heard somewhere you had trouble with unintentional Muller before on the right hand. Was it hard breaking the habit? I'm in the same boat at the moment. And also, how's that ACD pedal? Cheers from Twilight Force.
Cheers from Twilight Force. All right. I did have some trouble. That was with my right hand, because I had a problem with dynamic control with my right hand. It's easier if I just show this. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get a drumstick.
Wow. Dimostrazione tecnica addirittura, ragazzi, oggi.
Già, adesso torna col pad.
Fa più colpi in 3 minuti che noi in tutta la carriera.
Esatto.
Adesso...
All right. I feel like some visual demonstration is in order.
Number one.
Let's see.
Super cool.
Wow.
Let's see. Ah. There we go. Okay, so what I was doing, I'm just going to try to figure out this angle a little bit. Okay, that's fine. So what I was doing was, but fast. So that kind of just ended up being, you can only hear a really loud hit and then a really soft one, really loud, then really soft. But my left hand was doing this. Super even dynamics. And it's finger control and like a wrist turning motion. But my right hand was doing this, which just made me tired. So I kind of just learned the finger control that my left hand had, and then I learned how to twist my wrist, kind of like turning a key, a little bit like that. So I just started practicing that in a lower tempo, like this, and also make sure that my stick wasn't bouncing in my hand like this, uncontrolled, but my fingers were always in contact with the stick like that, even like just playing in the air like this. So I was always following the stick's movement, and that made it easier to control dynamics on whatever surface. Like this has a little bit of bounce, not much, but a little bit. But I can control the bounce by just having my fingers always in control and always in contact with the stick. But then I also just let my wrist follow the stick's movement like that. Now I'm not warmed up, so I'm not going to be like 300 BPM fast, but I can do it without a molar right now. Oh shit.
Wow.
And double strokes. But
Machine
like
gun.
that.
Machine gun.
Yeah, the machine gun.
Amazing,
But,
man.
Thank you. So instead of just doing, well, where's the camera? Here it is. Like this too much. That's what I kind of control not control. I call it the uncontrolled molar. And it just looks like I'm just whipping my hand around. I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's what I was doing. And I could also hear it on thrash beats, like, playing a skank beat. Like, it was just like, it sounded like I was playing like this, like letting my snare and my hi-hat just land at the same time. But I was putting so much energy in getting that second little hit, but you couldn't hear it. So I was just tiring myself out with something that no one could hear. So, but I still wanted to do that. So that's why I learned the finger control and made sure that my, that key turning motion as well. Oh, damn, the camera, everything is just inverted for me. So I just keep going out of the picture. So when I did that, it just evened out my dynamics on my hi-hat and ride, which obviously helps my blast beat, because then you can hear like my right hand going steadily on the ride or the hi-hat just being instead of. So that's why I did it, because I just didn't like the sound of my old technique, and obviously energy management wise it was garbage. So I just redid that. It took a while because it was like a 12-year-old muscle memory I just had to erase. Like I can't really do the uncontrolled thing anymore, and I don't want to practice it because then it might come back, and I don't want that. So that's pretty much what I did. Just like that. Started slow, gradually made it faster, and also another important thing in there is to just not hit too hard and not too soft, but then again, practicing in a tempo of playing really quietly and playing louder, because that gives you dynamic control of the tempo. And if you can do that on any surface, you can play light on a bouncy surface, you can play light on a non-bouncy surface, and then you can play loud. Then you can play quiet and loud on anything. Like, it doesn't matter what you're hitting. You can hit it loud, you can hit it quietly. So that gives you dynamic control. And if you gradually increase your dynamic control from lower tempos and just going up, you're just going to get faster as well. But just because you're going to be so good at controlling everything going up to that tempo. So pushing those tempos, your body already knows what it needs to do to reach a higher tempo.
Yeah.
So playing slower made me faster, actually.
Yeah.
And it boosted my endurance so much because I don't spend any energy that I don't have to spend anymore. Like, that's why I kind of look, well, it even looks like it looks like I spend less energy than I do, because some clips I see of myself, when it looks like I'm just sitting there and then I'm blasting into 85 and it looks like it doesn't bother me one bit, but it does. It's not as easy as it looks for me. But when I see it back myself, it looks like I'm not even like trying. But trust me, I'm dying on the inside. I'm dying.
I remember the first time I saw you playing live last year as 70,000 Tons of Metal. I remember.
Oh yeah, that show. That was a fun one.
Played the song. I don't remember the BPM, but I suppose over 300. And at the end of that song, you did this. Fuck! I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly which song it was. It's the song "S1 We Shall Conquer."
Yeah.
And
that one.
I played it without a click, because we don't always play that song. I actually play like half the set with a click, but that's one of the ones I don't play with a click.
Wow.
And I remember starting the song, and seeing it afterwards, I just look at it and like, what am I doing? But I remember when I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, adrenaline just kicked in, and I felt like, shit, I'm dragging. But I wasn't dragging. For some reason, I just felt like this song is so slow, but we already started it faster than the studio version. And then I sadly increased the tempo. So I think it peaked around like 313 BPMs. I checked afterwards with a tap tempo. And but I remember playing there sitting like, oh, I'm dragging. Like, this is not 290. This is way slower. But it was way higher. I was almost 15, 20 BPMs over than I should be. And it butchered the song. Like, the song sounded like shit. But the drum cam is funny to watch, like the small clip that's there. But it's, shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I remember a video of you from behind, and you play the skank bit of that song on your Instagram profile.
Yeah.
And myself, no, it's impossible, man. Wow. Wow. No way. Okay. There is another question from our friend Gianluca, and he asked you favorite drummers in the past and actually.
That's a big list, but I'll go into the ones that actually got me into to what I'm doing right now. Like the first drummer I heard that made me want to play double bass and metal was Jaska Raatikainen from Children of Bodom, because that was the first time I heard anything like that. I had no idea what it was, and I was 13 or 14 years old, and I didn't even play drums at the time, but I heard that, and I think I asked my mom, like, what is that? What's like, how does that happen? Like, how can anyone just use their feet like that? And that's when it said, yeah, he has two kick drums, and then you make a fast roll like that. My mom's not a drummer, but she knew that for some reason. And from that second, I was like, I can do that. I want to do that right now. So he is the one that got me started. But then it kind of gradually got boosted because I heard Dimmu Borgir Blessings Upon the Throne of Tyranny with Nick Barker playing.
Yeah.
And I thought Children of Bodom was like fast and tricky enough, and then I heard that. And that just killed me. I thought, that's not real. No one can play like that. And then when I finally got to the point when I could kind of get up to speed with that, my friends showed me Nile. So the Annihilation of the Wicked album with Nile. And then that's the album that messed up my ankle. Because I was just sitting in a room playing along to George Goliath albums. 7 to 8 hours a day for a year. So Jaska Raatikainen, Nick Barker, and George Goliath. But also, ironically enough, Nils Fjellström, Dominator,
Wow.
because his old band Aeon. I saw them live with Cannibal Corpse in Gothenburg when I was 15. So I started listening and playing along to Aeon records as well. During the same time I was playing Nile albums day in and out. That was the only thing I was doing. So Nils Fjellström, George Goliath, Nick Barker, and Jaska Raatikainen was my first 4 main influential drummers, and I think they all have their equal part in how much they influenced me. So in those times, I only really played extreme metal. That was the only thing I was interested in, because honestly, there's no other style that has that kind of energy. It's unmatched. Even though there's a lot of other energetic styles, like I just felt like that style is the most explosive and crazy one, and I just wanted to be able to do that at the time. And still trying, but it's nice. But in these days, I listen and try to figure out a drummer named Eric Moore that you all probably know about.
Yeah.
He's even playing with your Italian superstar,
Eros
Ramazzotti. Yeah.
Eric Moore.
Yeah, Eric Moore. He's one of the, like, he can do stuff that sounds so funky, but when you look at it, like, you have to double take a lot of things that he's doing, because I don't know, he's just like one of the craziest drummers around, I feel like when it comes to like how technical he is and how musical he is, and how groovy it is, like it's insanity. Like, rarely I see something that I don't understand, but he sometimes plays stuff that I have to just rewatch so many times because I don't understand what happened. And that's cool, because I want to not understand a few things, but try to learn them. But it's way harder for me to learn what Eric Moore is doing rather than extreme metal, because that's what I've based my whole playing and my career on. But I would say undisputably Eric Moore is my favorite drummer right now. Like, it's there's no one else that I like to watch more or try to learn from.
Yeah.
He's just too crazy.
We totally agree with you about Eric Moore.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And fast. If he wants to be fast, he's fast too. Damn. It's hard. It's not
Io
fair.
rispondo al volo a Federico Ravaglia, che ci ha fatto una domanda, ma in realtà lui ha già risposto. Federico, lui comunque fa pratica il più possibile su superfici che abbiano 0 rimbalzo. Questo lo ha già spiegato prima. Te lo dico adesso semplicemente per non fargli ripetere domande e risposta. Okay, so my next question is the strangest, funniest thing that ever happened to you on stage during a show.
I have to go through a few shows in my head. Well, it's of course it's strange when when the drum kit just falls apart, but I remember this one time ages and ages ago I played a show when the drum kit was falling apart, but then also the drum chair fell apart. So we kind of just fell apart at the same time. Like I fell off the stage and the drum kit just like kept, like the cymbal stands were going everywhere. But the last thing that happened was that my drum chair was too close to the edge of the stage, so I just ended up falling down. Yeah, it kind of hurt. It wasn't that big of a fall though, but you know, it was. It still kind of sucked because you know you were already pissed at that show. Everything was going like shit anyway, and then you just put on the grand finale by just falling off stage. So it's not that much like shockingly funny stuff ever happens on stage. That's just very unfortunate, you know. So I don't have too much funny stories of like the craziest things happening on stage, and more than that I just fell off the drum chair once, and it was really embarrassing. But sadly, I don't have anything cooler than that. Luckily, I don't have that too, because that would have sucked for me. So I wish I had a more fun answer, and I don't have that, honestly. Nothing crazy is happening. Or wait, maybe. Oh, well, this is actually quite funny. When we played Sweden Rock 2 years ago with Dark Funeral, we had a pyro show, and I didn't know where the bombs were set, like where they were gonna go off. So we were opening with a song called "Unchain My Soul," and I had my friend Andreas Lindgren. He was helping me out as a drum tech for that show, just like a one-time thing, and he didn't know either. So I started the song, and I was just like looking around, everything's fine, and I was looking at him, and all of a sudden a bomb goes off, and none of us were prepared for that. So I jumped on the kit, like I almost jumped off the kit because I got so surprised, and so did he. So he just, well, he was not on the kit obviously because he was a drum tech. So, but he jumped so much he almost fell backwards, and I don't know. We were just looking at each other, just laughing uncontrollably for the first song. And you know, when you play a black metal show and with all the face paint, and you're gonna look evil, but I was just sitting back there laughing a whole song because I got so scared and surprised from a bomb. But it's still not that funny if you weren't there, you know. It was a weird moment. So I got surprised by a few bombs, and but luckily nothing bad really happened. But if something really bad happened out of that, that would have been a way more fun story.
Yeah.
I feel like.
That wouldn't happen when it happens, but when you tell the story, is always funny.
Yeah, of course. But I'm disappointed that I don't have any more fun stories than that. But I'm at the same time very grateful that it's been going pretty well. You know. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's a few things, but I can't talk about that, honestly. I just remembered a couple of things that should never be talked about. It's I might share that later on. It's from a drunken shows that happened ages and ages ago, but it has to stay hidden for a while, I feel like.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Another questions. Very important questions.
Right.
How do you think live music will evolve once the COVID emergency is over? Will be over?
That's a very important question. You know, it's worrying to see like what's happening with the scenes right now, like the music industry in general. It's a worrying sight. I hope that all bands and artists are going to be able to tour again, like as soon as possible, whenever it's safe. But also seeing what Live Nation did, like they want everybody to take like they just want everybody to charge 25% less. and stuff like that, and that was just weird to see. So I don't know. I just hope that bands and fans come up with a good solution to be able to play again, play tours, because I think fans want bands to tour and bands want to tour as much as the fans want to. So I just hope that it all just fixes itself soon enough. But I can't tell you how I think it's gonna work out. I have no idea. And it scares me. It's a question that scares me, because I think it scares all of us.
Yeah.
Like I just want to start touring again. Like I'm tired of sitting in here. Very tired of it. But no one knows when that's gonna happen. Like I don't know. Do you guys know?
Yeah.
When can we start touring again? I don't know.
Yeah, but we all hope to come back at the previous situations before the COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, it's messed up. Like the world has never been in this. Well, yeah, of course it has been in this kind of situation before, but in modern times, not really. When a whole world is in lockdown, pretty much. Not lockdown, but there's restrictions of what you can do and what you cannot do, which none of us are really used to. Well, some of us maybe, but fortunately, a lot of us are not used to having to be in lockdown. So I don't really know how to handle it either. It's been difficult, and it's strange. I hate it, honestly.
Yeah. Emilia?
And Janne, what about Dark Funeral? Are you planning something for the future with the band?
Yes, we are. We're currently writing an album. That we're working on some demos. I've just received the first tracks that I'm gonna be working on, and put my drums on, that are in that state that we can start to actually produce some solid songs. Because before it's only been really just an idea here and here, but now actual songs are coming together. So a new album is in the works, for sure. It's still in the demo stage, but it's exciting to actually be working on an album with this band now. So that's what the main focus is there, to be able to finalize and eventually record and release a new album, which is going to be the first time for the band since 2016. So it's a bit long overdue already, I feel like, but it's a good opportunity for us to actually do it now. So a lot of focus is going into that. Live shows. We do have one live show in November that's scheduled, but we'll see if that happens. It's in a festival in Sweden called Kristianstad Rockfest. And there's only Swedish bands there, I think. I might be wrong, but I would assume it's only Swedish bands. But I have no idea.
Okay, and how about your other projects?
I did an album very, very recently with a newly formed band called Iron Master, which is myself, Jonas Kjellgren, who is a producer, and also he started up and did the first couple of albums with Scar Symmetry from Sweden, and he's mainly been playing country for the past 10 years. But he wanted to do a death metal album again. So this spring actually, he just messaged me and asked if I wanted to do a death metal album with him. And I was sitting in the States in my girlfriend's apartment, and he formed the band, and then he wrote 10 songs, and the album is already finished just a couple of months later. I was up there recording drums, and we have Robert Karlsson, also from Scar Symmetry, the screaming vocalist. He finished the vocals not even 2 weeks ago, and the album is ready. So out of nothing, there's a new band coming out. Sadly, we don't really have any music out yet because the songs were written just a few months ago. So there's no older material, nothing. So it's a new original one. Then I also have Night Crown. We released an album. It was this year, I think. Yeah, it was. I think it was this year, or was it last year? I can't even remember anymore. But it's also an original band of mine, which is more like black and death metal, melodic black and death metal, I would say. And we're also working on new material. We're gonna record a new album very soon. When it's gonna be released, I have no idea. But hopefully as soon as possible. So, and then there's session work with stuff I can't really reveal yet, but it's just like on-demand sessions. If someone wants me to play on a song or an album, they can just hire me to do it, and I record it from my studio where I'm currently at, which I do sometimes. Not as much as I would have hoped, honestly, during this lockdown, but everybody's struggling with money, not just me. And I just realized how many bands I have. I also have another band called Despite, which we've been trying to write a new album for 3 or 4 years, I feel like. But we're also in the works. Probably gonna record the end of this year, I hope. We all have our own studios, so we can honestly just do it whenever. So I before this question, I thought I didn't have a lot on my plate, but I guess I did. So it's busy times, you know. I got 4 or 5 bands working on albums right now, but when they are all gonna appear, I don't really know. And then also I do drum lessons, online drum lessons.
Yeah.
Some of that. So I'm basically locked in this room all day.
Okay.
All day, every day.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope that answered your question, because sometimes I just forget the questions and keep talking, so feel free to stop me sometimes.
Okay. We have another question from an Italian great drummer and great producer.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, what is your approach in the studio? Is it different from live, or you just play naturally? Did you ever been quantized? Black metal is usually a more feeling genre, but nowadays production have to be almost perfect. Is it the same for you?
I'm personally not a fan of super quantized drums. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, honestly. I just wish that function in studio production just disappears. If I had the choice to do that, I wish that everybody just stopped quantizing their drums. But yes, I have done albums where I've been edited a little bit, mainly older ones. But the ones the latest one I did with Iron Master, it's pretty much all raw, except that I've been punching in some takes. So I'm gonna be releasing an album where I'm like, it's a raw album with a modern production. So let's see what people think about that. But when it comes to Night Crown, I do not quantize that much at all, but I had to do it a little bit just because, but I didn't quantize it after a grid because I recorded it to pre-recorded guitars that were finalized, which was strange. So I had to edit my drums after a pre-recorded guitar for a few sections here and there. But otherwise, I try to avoid it as much as possible because you kind of, oh shit, my computer's dying. I have to go get my charger. I'm gonna come back to this question. I just have to run for my charger real quick. I'm sorry about this.
Ok. Stacchetto musicale?
Faccio pure... po' di sottofondo.
Adesso ci mettiamo a quattro mani, non facciamo i colpi che ha fatto lui prima.
No, assolutamente.
Ok.
È praticamente impossibile.
Io sono spaventato.
Ah, guarda, ha fatto paura anche a me quando si è appoggiato sulla poltrona.
Che mondo crudele, ragazzi, che mondo crudele.
È così, è così, è così.
È così, è così. È tutto molto ingiusto.
È poi anche il bello del gioco, no? Ogni volta che pensi di aver raggiunto un obiettivo c'è sempre qualcuno più bravo che
Okay, there we go.
Oh.
Sorry about
Janne-
that. Okay, I was talking about quantizing. Not a fan of it, but sometimes it's necessary, apparently, for some producers. Even though I would rather see that no one quantizes their drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I had something else I was going to say about this. Hold on. Oh, I hate my brain so much. Why do I do this to myself? Anyhow, always when I record, I make sure I record stuff that I can always play live any day. So I'm not a fan of like faking drum parts to make sure that it just sounds cool on an album, and then if you're gonna show up and play it live, it doesn't sound anything like it. You know, I've heard those examples before, and it doesn't only have to do with like fast double bass or whatever, but it's, you know, sometimes you just show up and the drum part is completely different, because if you, I sometimes hear like that, I hear some beats on albums sometimes when you can hear like a hi-hat pedal going on, and then there's like these double bass patterns underneath that, you know, that are physically impossible to play. I've heard that before. There's like, where are they trying to fool? Like, record stuff that's physically possible to play. Like, some people might have 3 legs, I don't know. That joke can be taken very far, I just realized. But I always record stuff that I can play live any day in any situation, because I don't want to sit there and not be able to play my own parts, you know. So that's why I also don't like the quantizing part, because every time I've recorded something, I think this is not only just me, but then after a week you can play it better than you did on the recording. Not sure that's happened to. I'm pretty sure that's happened to pretty much every drummer, you know, learn from your own recordings. So I tend to get my live versions sounding better than album versions, which is fun, but I kind of wish that they were the same, but I keep changing shit. So is it different? Like, is live and studio different to play? Yes, I feel like it is. I feel like I'm more locked in my own head when I'm in the studio playing. I don't feel like I'm as good, honestly. But not because of like I can't play, it's just because I think all the time, like, I have to nail this part, blah, blah, blah. But honestly, in the studio, I have all the time in the world to just do it over and over again. But live, that's where I'm comfortable. I'm like, yeah, I don't care if I mess up a part, and that's when I always play better. But for some reason, I care about not messing up. Well, I care about messing up parts in the studio, but I should just do the other way around, I feel like. So I tend to play better live, even though I have more pressure playing live. But studio is just, it's an environment I have to get so used to. The first day, I rarely do anything useful. I'm just sitting there having anxiety about being in the studio. But then if I relax, like if I just have a beer, 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, just 1, that's when I kind of just relax and feel like, whatever. And then I play better. Sometimes it doesn't work here. But the best recording I've ever done is after a bottle of wine, I feel like. When I was playing a rock album. Not released though, and it was ages ago, but it was just one of those days I couldn't play. Me and my friend were just sitting here in my studio, and he was also saying it like, hey, you sound too tense and stiff on the recording. I'm like, yeah, I'm just not going to record. So I started drinking instead, and then I had the best idea that I'm going to record now, and then it turned out perfect. So I think you just don't have to give a shit when you're recording in the studio. That's when you're gonna do the good stuff. But I can't really just I can't really just do that when I'm in the studio. It's so rare for me. But live I never ever drink anymore when I play. But I don't need to. Like it just feels natural to sit on a stage and play. I just like that environment a lot. Studio environment feels like a bit too stale.
Yeah.
Hard to get like the real feeling in there, I feel like.
C'è un'altra domanda, Emilia, leggi tu?
Vado. Sì. Ok, our friend Gianluca asks you, what about the Iron Maiden tribute band?
Yeah, it's with some friends of mine. That was actually a really fun thing to do. We're gonna do more stuff, and it's so different to what I normally play. But it was just fun to play Maiden songs. You know, who did not grow up with Maiden songs? And I don't know, maybe we're gonna play twice a year. Hopefully not in a live stream. It would be more fun to play that in a club or something. That would be nice. That would be fun. But yeah, that's like a fun project when everybody involved has time for it. But everybody involved in that is they're all great musicians, and it's a really fun thing to do. It's nothing I ever expected to do, but it was just a really fun thing to do. Playing some old Nico McBrain drums. Just get rid of your tempo feel and just play tempos however he feels like it, which is a very special kind of feel. Like, okay, I'm gonna play fast now. I'm gonna count in a song in a wrong tempo. It's fun. It's different from what I normally do, as I said, but it's a really fun challenge, and I feel like it was necessary for me to do that too. So I'm not just only sitting day out and in and out and just playing blast beats all the time.
Yeah,
it's a fun thing with friends.
Spending time with friends, doing something funny. It's very good.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. And also, you don't have to write songs; they're already finished.
I think you can play the that stuff with only one hand.
No, actually, I thought it was pretty. Some parts were pretty strange for me to play. Mainly because of like the feel of it, because it's not a feel I'm used to always play. So it was. I only spent a day to learn the songs, even if I feel like I should know the songs. But when I was actually picking them all down in detail, I realized I don't know the songs half as well as I thought. All the small details here and there. So it was fun, and a bit more challenging than I anticipated. But it was a good learning experience. Then all of a sudden I learned a few new fills. You know, it's not normal for me to play Nico McBrain fills all the time. But it was fun. It's like the more of these things you do, you're just gonna expand your musical vocabulary more and more. Even though like Iron Maiden is being seen like this simple thing to play, but playing that right and doing it, giving it justice, let's say, put it like that, it's not as easy as one would think. I'd say it's not as easy as I thought.
Yeah, the real challenge is to go slower.
Yeah, but not just slower. You know, kind of get the right groove.
Yeah,
and do all that stuff.
Kind of music.
Yeah, it's not fast music.
Playing the right mood.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to scream like Nico. Like, if you look at his like drum isolation things. You can just hear him screaming behind the kid all the time.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that on YouTube? Like Nico McBrain drum cams. Every time he plays a fill, he's screaming like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that too, just to get the real feel.
Yeah. Emiliano knows Nico's stuff very well because he plays in a Iron Maiden tribute band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Iron Maiden than any one of us.
Oh man, you have to send me those
One
links.
of my favorite drummer ever.
Nico. Yeah, Nico is cool.
And it's fun watching him on YouTube playing the songs and scream and say sound when he hit the hi-hats like Patru Burr!
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's
a crazy guy.
It's such a, but sometimes when you see him on small drum clinics and stuff, you know, when it's only him and drums, you hear him in the mic just screaming in the drum fills. It's hilarious. I love it.
Yeah.
I've been a Maiden fan for as long as I can remember. I saw them live the first time, 2005, when I was 14. That's when I saw them in Gothenburg. That show is on YouTube as well. So it's that was my first Maiden show. It's a great memory. Seeing all those old songs they were playing. Phantom of the Opera and stuff. They played that with the bit groovier version, I'd say, when Nico is playing it rather than Clive Burr. Well, the Clive Burr's version is cool too. You know, it's a bit punkier, it's way faster, but I prefer Nico's actually. Yeah, I think it's cooler.
We did a live talking about Nico and Clive Burr drumming in Iron Maiden. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I bet. But I'll say Nico all the way. Even though Clive Burr did really good stuff, but I don't know, I just prefer Nico. Even though like Nico is a bit messy, he kind of messes up sometimes, but you know, he's cooler. He's much cooler.
Wow, very good.
I remember my first Iron Maiden show was during the X Factor tour.
X Factor tour with
Blaze Bailey.
Blaze Bailey, yeah.
The opening band was My Dying Bride.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's strange.
Yeah, I remember this was the phase of the guys in the crowd during the My Dying Bride show.
Yeah, Iron Maiden has a record of having strange openers sometimes.
Yeah.
Like very unexpected openers for their own style. Sometimes they hit gold, but sometimes they're like, what? Who paid for this?
Last time I saw Iron Maiden with Halloween, the Pumpkins United tour, so it was better.
Oh yeah. It's a bit of a more it's a better match, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's a much better match.
For me, it's one of my favorite match.
Yeah.
1998, quando era Emilia? 1998?
Fammi pensare. Cos'è che sia prima?
No. Iron Maiden Halloween, Roma?
Ah, no, Iron Maiden Halloween. No, era Firenze Rocks.
Ah, ok.
United.
Ok. Perfetto.
Iron Maiden Legacy of the Beast in Florence, Rome, and Pumpkins United for Iron Maiden.
2017 or 2018?
Yes.
One of them. Okay.
2018, I saw them at Sweden Rock doing the Legacy of the Beast.
Yeah, cool.
When they opened, no, they didn't open with Were Eagles there, but it was on the set list at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, I just remember I went to the show, but you know it was a festival, so you've been running back and forth all the time. But then I heard like they probably opened with something they always open with, so I was still like, yeah, this is cool. And then I just heard the drum intro from Where Eagles Dare, which you probably know is the first song from the first album he ever did with them. And I'd never seen that song live with them before, so it was pretty cool to see them just playing that, and that was unexpected to me. It was really cool.
Yeah.
And usually I don't care that much about festival shows normally. If it's a band like Maiden, you just want to go to a stadium and see it. You don't want to see it on the festival, ideally, but it was actually really good. I really liked that show. It actually did the festival. The festival did the show justice, I feel like. It was cool.
C'è un'altra domanda, vero Emilia?
Yes. So my last question is, in your opinion, the musical market, where is going on now? Because we are living in a moment where sell music for the bands is not so easy. So our market, where is going on, in your opinion?
Wow, I don't know. What is going on? That's a very good question. Are you talking about like what's going on with the extreme metal market right now, or just in general? I've been trying to figure this out for a while myself. I still feel like extreme metal has been going pretty well lately. It's quite popular, I feel like, and I think it's growing more if you see it in a touring perspective, like when bands are touring. I feel like a lot of bands, I'm not sure if the bands themselves are just growing, but it feels like in general that extreme metal is a bit more, it's just bigger in general. Like I see the festivals growing, especially up here in around Scandinavia. Like metal festivals are a huge thing up here. There's extreme metal outdoor festivals when there's not a single melodic vocal on a whole festival bill, pretty much. It's just all screamers and blast beat festivals. And I see bands like I can just take Dark Funeral as an example. Like I feel like that band, our band, is growing too. Like the tours we've been doing the past 2 years have been they just get better and better. And I also see it with a lot of friends in their bands. Like everybody just plays bigger and bigger tours, and festival appearances, I feel like they get bigger and bigger crowds. And I don't know, I just feel like extreme metal is growing more and more. Is it more accepted? I guess it is, but market-wise, it just feels like it's all growing. And it's a thing I like to see because, you know, I'm an extreme metal fan. I think all three of us are. I don't know. Am I wrong? Do you guys agree? Is extreme metal growing compared to like the early '90s, which I wasn't really around for that? Well, I was a child. I'm born '91, so I'm guessing extreme metal is bigger now than it was in the early '90s.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, and I feel like it's been going a bit up and down lately, but not lately, but the past 5 years, I feel like it's been growing and growing.
Yeah.
But even though, like, Wacken was still big 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's not just Wacken anymore that has a lot of extreme metal bands. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we can compare it to, for example, 20 years ago. In the past, death metal was more underground than now.
Yeah, it probably was. Well, that's what I've been seeing since I was 15. So about 15 years, I've been seeing death metal and death and black metal just grow a lot. Like I take those two parts of metal because that's the extremist parts of metal. And then you have all the subgenres to that, but I kind of include them in there. But that scene has just blown up lately. Not lately, but gradually over a quite long time. And I hope it still does that even after COVID and when this stuff is all over. I hope we come back to seeing stronger than ever, because, you know, now everybody's not going to take touring for granted. Not bands either, you know, because everybody's taking a hard hit from this. Not just bands, like everyone who's working with something or just lives in a city, you know, it's everybody are suddenly restricted and are not allowed to go and see a show. Like, I took that for granted because everybody was playing shows. Even if it's a local show, it's a bigger band, you know, sometimes you would just feel like, no, I don't feel like doing that today. I have a hard time feeling, well, that I'm ever going to feel like that again, because I'm not going to take those shows for granted, because, you know, it might be the last time in a long time or something, like when shows get back. So I don't hope the industry is all ruined when COVID is gone. I hope it's going to build itself up quick, and hopefully not only like death and black metal is going to be like a good market. I hope every artist, almost every artist, not every artist, are going to have like a good market to come back to, and I hope it keeps growing.
Yeah, we hope too. We have last questions from Marta Meged. Which band from your country will you recommend to listen?
Which band from my country?
Yeah.
Which band from my country? I'm from Sweden. Come on, give me a break.
Hey, you have a lot of very good and interesting bands in Sweden.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I would say give Aeon a listen.
Aeon.
Give them a listen. It's probably, yeah, I'd say it's my favorite death metal band from Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is. Aeon.
They have or had Dominator beyond the drum kit. Am I wrong?
Yeah, they had that. And before he was in Dark Funeral, he was in Aeon.
Okay.
So I've been playing a lot of Aeon in my days.
Okay. So we can close. I close in our language. Allora, ragazzi, vi ringraziamo tantissimo per essere stati con noi con questa diretta. Grazie a Janne per essersi messo così, insomma, a disposizione, addirittura facendoci vedere, mostrandoci un po' i segreti delle sue mani incredibili, del suo rullo killer. Lo ringraziamo veramente. Insomma, noi ci vediamo alla prossima diretta. Grazie a tutti. Se vuoi dire tu qualcosa, Emiliano. Janne, when we end the live, stay with us for 5 minutes, ok?
Mm-hmm.
Ok.
Ma io voglio semplicemente ricordare a tutti quanti che domani, come sempre, c'è l'appuntamento sul nostro canale YouTube per la rubrica Drunken Friends. Uscirà un altro batterista italiano che condividerà con noi, diciamo, dei contenuti, sicuramente come sempre interessanti. Se non l'avete fatto, iscrivetevi al canale. Questa diretta, come tutte le altre, verranno caricate sul nostro canale YouTube. Adesso torno un attimo in inglese a ringraziare Janne. Janne, thanks a lot for being with us. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for sharing with us your knowledge about singles and double stroke. It was a really big pleasure. We hope to see you soon in Italy with our funeral, and good luck for the future.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Di nuovo ciao a tutti ragazzi, continuate a seguirci perché continueremo a lavorare solo per voi. Ciao a tutti.
Ciao ragazzi.